Alright, I'm here with another Logitech G Cloud video about why I'm probably returning it. I know a lot of YouTubers do like kind of clickbait videos like this. Why I'm returning this, why I decided not to do this, whatever. But I wanted to kind of go over like the quick reasons why. This is not a video shot on my cell phone, as you see. Actually shooting my G Cloud, which I still have. But I'm just using this screencast program I use to video where it records my computer screen. And I just talking all 20, excuse the yawning. It's morning here. Morning is 11 a.m. for me. This little $15 mic I bought from Best Buy like 5 years ago. Anyways, so why I'm probably leaning towards returning Logitech G Cloud. I like it. It's not me. It's not you. It's me kind of thing. It's not the G Cloud. It's me. It's not really for me. There's three main reasons. Number one, the main thrust of the device, right, is cloud gaming, in my case on Xbox Game Pass, which works pretty darn good so far. Although I did play something last night that was like breaking up. I don't know, I guess I was having random Wi-Fi fluctuations or something. But for the most part it works really good, and it seems like almost native, both in input latency and a lot of times in image quality. Although sometimes you do kind of see like a little bit lower quality in the back video, lower quality in the backgrounds and stuff. Sometimes it's sharp, most times it's sharp, but overall it's been a very good experience with the cloud gaming aspect. But I just don't see myself ever using that part, and that's my fault again. I shouldn't have bought it because I don't need a hand. It's the same reason like I'm an avid video gamer, and well, to an extent I've also mentioned on here how I don't actually play that many video games. But at least in theory I'm an avid gamer. I keep up with the news about it. At least I play a lot of Destiny, which I've kind of tried to quit Destiny lately in the last year or so, but I still play it quite a bit, and I still got like over 5,000 hours between Destiny 2 and Destiny 1. If I go to time wasted on Destiny.com, which is a website that you can put in your gamer tag, it tells you how much time you played. I've got like over 2,000 hours on Destiny 1, which was back in 2014 to 2017. And then I've got like over 2,500 hours in Destiny 2. And that's a great undercount because that site, it only includes quote-unquote active playtime. It doesn't include time when you're in orbit or you're in the tower, both of which is definitely active playtime. I mean, well, sometimes in orbit may not be active playtime, but a lot of it, because you might just be in orbit and you might just walk to the kitchen to make a snack or just be doing whatever. But a lot of orbit is active playtime because you're like waiting to load into a thing, or you could be examining your inventory screen and playing with your weapons and stuff. So it doesn't include any orbit. Tower time is almost all active game time, because once you go in there, you're going to get bounties or you're doing this or that. So point is, time wasted on Destiny misses a lot of active playtime, probably like 1,000 hours or something, and it has me like over 5,000 hours combined between Destiny 1 and 2. So I play a lot of Destiny, but for the most part I don't game that muI was thinking the other day, there's only been like 2 single player games. Once I got really into Destiny, which was kind of a revelation for me, I found a really hard time to get into any other single player games. I just felt irrelevant to me. And I was thinking of 2. There's only been really 2 since Destiny in 2014 that I really liked, and they were Jedi Fallen Order and Halo Infinite. I really liked the campaigns on both of those. They're like the only 2, probably. Gears of War 5 was okay. I didn't really love it, though. Anyways, So I don't see myself using that main aspect of the G Cloud, which is the cloud gaming part. Which with Xbox Game Pass in my case, I'm not going to use. I haven't even made a GeForce Now account. I just don't want to mess with it. It seems complicated, and I believe in order for that to work, you have to own the games on Steam, right? I don't really own any games on Steam. Maybe I could play like Destiny free to play on PC. So I think I have that somewhere on my PC. I occasionally have touched with that. I mean, my main platform for Destiny is my Series X. I don't really play it on PC. For one thing, you have to buy the stuff separate, which is ridiculous, and that would be very expensive in Destiny 2's case. Like, I'd have to buy all the expansions and stuff on my PC to play them on my PC. So you need to stick with one platform pretty much. It doesn't have cross-buy. Anyway, so I haven't messed with GeForce Now. I do pop over to Stadia in a web browser and play some free-to-play Destiny every once in a while on it. Mainly to like grab something from an NPC or something real quick. That's the way I've always used Stadia and Destiny. So I don't see myself using the AAA cloud gaming aspect really, which, like I said, that's my fault. And I kind of knew that going in. It's the same reason. I was talking about how I've gamed for like so many years since I was a child, but and the Switch is a thing, right? And I've never bought a Switch this whole time. I'm more into core gaming, Xbox/PlayStation, and out of those, I'm definitely an Xbox fanboy to begin with. I don't really mess with PC. I used to when I was a kid, but I don't really like it anymore. I don't like, for one thing, I'm what they call farsighted, which is like the opposite of nearsighted, which means instead of like if you think of somebody that's nearsighted, it's like they can't see things far away. I'm like reverse. I can see pretty well. I don't use glasses or anything. In normal life, I can see fine, but I kind of don't like things close to me. I have a hard time seeing them, especially like fine print or something. And it kind of has gotten worse as I've aged. It's still not to the point that I need glasses or anything. But yes, farsighted means my inclination is to like push everything away from me to see it better, which is kind of weird, right? So in that respect, PC gaming is not a good fit for me because like the way you PC game is hunched real close to your monitor, right? And that's not the most comfortable thing to me. I'm like kind of wanting to push back from my monitor. So that's one reason PC gaming just doesn't. And then another thing is I just like, if you're PC gaming, you're playing on your small monitor. Like I have a 32-inch monitor. That's a big monitor, but yet it's still nothing compared to my 65-inch HDR TV with my Dolby Atmos soundbar. You know what I mean? And I'm poor. That's like nothing. But it's still nice, And the comfy couch gaming thing. You can sit on your couch with your wireless controller. It's very. And plus, for me, I've made videos on this. Like a console controller is much better for most games than PC. People act like mouse and keyboard is the superior control method, but it's only superior for like one genre of games, first-person shooters. Even then, it's probably arguable nowadays. But like, think of a third-person beat 'em up like Batman, or anything. Those are better on controller. Think of side-scrolling fighting games; they're better on controller. Almost anything you can think of, most genres are better on controller naturally. Platformer. No contest, much better on controller. So I'm not a PC gamer anyways. So I just, and this GeForce Now is kind of like inclined towards playing games you already own on Steam and good old games, I think. That's the different launcher it uses. And it seems complicated. I've never messed with it. I've never made a GeForce Now. I've dabbled in Stadia and stuff because that's super easy. I've never made a GeForce Now account. It seems complicated. I don't feel like messing with it. But anyways, just overall, the AAA, like I've dabbled in it, I've fired up, like, ooh, cool, Halo Infinite on a handheld, looks nice, that kind of thing. But honestly, I'm just, I'll never use that aspect. Like, if I'm away from my house, I want to be engaged in whatever I'm doing anyway. I'm not a teenager. I'm old, I don't take the subway. I live in freaking Texas. There's no subways here. Maybe there is in Dallas, but, you drive your car everywhere, and like, there's no point to a handheld for me. I'm not a kid. I feel like handhelds are for kids. They got a lot of free time. Maybe they go to school all the time, whatever they may be doing. So there's no real use at all for a handheld for me. I don't need to when I want a game with the best possible experience, which is going to be on my Series X on my TV, not on a handheld. Another thing is I found it hard to control, and everyone says the G Cloud has great controls, so I guess it's not the G Cloud. And I've had the same problem with my Razer Kishi and my phone. I don't know. I find it hard to control. I don't know if it's because I'm used to the Xbox controller or what, but I find it hard to control these AAA games. Like on Destiny, I find it hard to shoot the enemies. It's weird. It's like the analog sticks are too small, so they're too precise or something. And you can probably get used to that, like I said. So I don't see myself using the main cloud gaming aspect. But it can still be saved because it's a Retro Game Core and Tacky Odin have made videos now showing how good the display is. And it would still be a good retro game console, which is a secondary feature that I would use it for. But here's the thing. Retro showed how the D-pad doesn't really register diagonals properly. So it's hard to do like a fireball, for example, in a fighting game, he said. Well, that's a huge problem for me because that's one of my main use cases. Like, what I would really end up doing with this thing is I'm envisioning what I would do is have a retro game collection on there. I haven't got it all set up to my liking yet. I'm not like super versed with retro gaming anyway, so there's a learning curve. I'm still going down on that. But eventually, I'd like to have it set up where I have like a bunch of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and arcade type games, and I could see myself maybe popping into like 5 arcade games a lot. Those would be like Pac-Man, Street Fighter 2, obviously, like in the hyper fighting. Those, not the later versions, because I never learned anything about like Street Fighter 2. You know what I'm saying? Those type of games, just basic Tetris, probably for sure. Some arcade or console version of Tetris. I've already explored how the Android store version doesn't work on it. I have played some Tetris Effect on stream from my Series X, but I will say that that's not very cool on the little screen. That game's an awesome audio-visual experience on your really big TV, but on this thing it's like all of a sudden all small, so it's not quite as cool. But yeah, so just basic Twitch games like that. And 1943 is another like shooter I like, that World War II shooter, or 1942 also. So that's what I'd like to do. Maybe Final Fight is fun. Just little Twitch games, about 5 or 6 of the classics with like perfect gameplay that I have all this muscle memory with, like Street Fighter 2, and just pop in and play those now and then. Those are probably what I envision, right? Well, here's the problem. If the D-pad doesn't work really well, and I will say I have not played with it a lot, but I did notice in that Street Fighter 4 game, I couldn't shoot a fireball. Now, maybe that I downloaded on native Android, and it's in my video. It's Street Fighter 4 something. It's like the only native Android version of Street Fighter. But, I couldn't pull off a fireball with my guy, and he looked like a Ken-type guy. He's not Ken, but... Now, I don't know if that guy doesn't have a fireball, possibly, because I was playing with Mortal Kombat yesterday on Game Pass, Mortal Kombat 11, I think it is, and I was able to do fireballs with Sub-Zero pretty decently, but I did notice it was hard to, like, even jump, because I think, like I said, watch Retro Game Core video for his talking about the D-pad here. Just that you have to press, like, both directions to get it to register the diagonal. I don't know how to explain it. Very hard. It doesn't want to register diagonals. So that's a huge problem for me right there. Like Street Fighter, if I can't do fireballs well, and like I said, I haven't even played actual basic Street Fighter 2 on it yet, so I'll need more research. But it appears like the D-pad is going to be a problem for the basic. Now Tetris and stuff works with just the 4 directions, which Retro Game Core said worked great. You know, you're not going to need diagonals for Tetris or some of those other games I mentioned. But for Street Fighter 2, you need the diagonals, so I just fail to see how it can be a great retro game machine, which is what I'm going to use it for, when it doesn't have diagonals. Or good diagonals, apparently. So that's strike 2. And then strike 3, dang it, I forgot already. There's a third major thing. Oh, native Android, there's nothing really worth playing. Like I said, I've already investigated it. There's nothing I really want to play on it. It's a surprisingly few games on native Android. And like I said, some of them that, you know, might be kind of fun, like Call of Duty Mobile or something. And retro, I'm not interested in Call of Duty Mobile anyway, but also, apparently this game does not have, well, I guess you can buy a third party. It doesn't have like where you can convert the touchscreens to physical controls, but I guess you can buy third party apps that do that, so that's not a huge issue, probably for a few bucks. That's not an issue to me, I guess then, but yeah. They said Logitech should have included, like, they call it screen mapper software, I think. But so that, yeah, and so I thought more about like what I want out of a handheld, and I think something more like this is what I'm really wanting. And this is like a really popular little retro emulator right now. That's really kind of, it's sold out all the time. And see, I said sorry inside of it longer. It's like $60, and it's got a real big community around it. They made an operating system for it called Onion OS. And another thing I really like about it is it has all the games already pre-installed, which is stupid. Some of these Chinese handhelds have games pre-installed, some don't. And like I said, I'm still learning how to install games on these and stuff. It's a pain in the butt, trust me. And set up RetroArch and all this and that. And I haven't got that down yet to where I can just, you know, set it up the way I want easily. So I prefer, like, I bought an Ambernick Chinese handheld once and then returned it because the speaker was crackling. But it came with a bunch of games already loaded, and I'm sure it wasn't ideal, like, it wasn't the best launcher or whatever, but for me it worked great, and they're already there, you know. I'm not sure if I think Mi Mini does come with the games already loaded. But then I think if you want to put that Onion OS thing on it, of course you gotta erase everything. I would probably just use it stock. But you can see what it is. It's little, and it's really it only has a 2.8-inch display. And people love it because you can just throw it in your pocket. Obviously, it doesn't have analog sticks to get in the way or anything. So I'm thinking I want something like this now. This is like what I would really want out of retro games. Something I can just carry around. I pop those simple, easy games I was talking about. I don't need analog sticks for any of them. Don't want analog sticks. You know, this is $60 when you can get it. I've been kind of keeping an eye on it. But then I've also been thinking, my tendency is always to buy something. A lot of times I don't need it. You know, I always like, oh, so I'm going to get into this hobby. I'm going to buy a bunch of shit for this hobby, you know. When it's really like, then I say to myself, like, do I really need to be buying all this? So I got to thinking, I've already got this handheld. This is the only handheld, Chinese handheld I currently own. And it's the Retroid Pocket 2. As soon as the Retroid Pocket 3 came out with a much bigger screen, it's basically the same internals of this device, but with a much bigger screen. It has like a 5-inch screen instead of a 3.5. So I was like, well, I want the Retroid Pocket 3, and I kind of lost interest in this. I stopped setting it up. I had started setting it up. I didn't get too far. I had the only Super Nintendo game I had on there is Mario World, and I had been playing that a little bit actually. The screen on this is not great, even for the small size. The quality is kind of dinky, you know. It's all right, but it's nothing compared to the G Cloud screen, even for the size. You know, the quality is just not as good. But it works, I get it, you know. And it's small, and what I realized is I think this, I already own it. I paid like $114 for it after tax. It's ostensibly $99, but if you get the cheap shipping from China, it's like $14. And I waited about a month, which isn't too bad for it to get here from China. But I think there's a way if you pay like $20, $30 shipping, $30 shipping for DHL shipping, I think you get it pretty fast. I guess is how that works. I didn't use that, but that's what I think. So if you want to if you want to get it within like a week or two, I believe, and you use DHL shipping, which somehow comes from the United States instead of China, something like that. It's like $130. Just to say the point that all these Chinese handhelds are like a little more expensive than their nominal price. But anyway, so I already have this. I have it in a drawer. I have the white one. So I'm thinking this is really what I want, because this one, I think that with this, the way the controls are, where they're like right next to each other and so small like that, like a Game Boy, I think that would be uncomfortable probably, right? It looks a little weird, like your hands would be super cramped and stuff. I'd have to like experience it to know more. But I feel like I would want a small handheld side by side like this. So if you think about it, I already have my perfect, because I was thinking like, I would like something like this that you can throw in your pocket, really, really easy. But then on the other hand, I want something with like side by side controls, or controls to this, horizontally laid out, basically. Hey, I already have that handheld. Like, I need to quit with this, I always have this urge to like buy more crap. I don't need it. I already have this. The only possible negative I can say on this, I guess I don't want the analog sticks. But even that's kind of good in a way, because they're not too big. Yeah, it's not as pocketable as the Mi Mini, but it's got the side by side controls that I want, and it's still small and pocketable. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I already have that in a drawer. I'll just gotta go back to fixing it up to be the way I want. Which is a lot of work for me, like I said, because I don't really know the ways to do it. I'm still learning all the RetroArch and stuff. So yeah, so I decided that's kind of what I want in the end goal here. I want a little retro emulator with all these types of games on them that's little, So I may still get a Mini just because it's $60, so it's kind of like a throwaway purchase. Even though I just talked about how I don't need to spend money on everything all the time. But yeah, I already have this, so I think this is more in line. So if I return this, I'll just go back to this and start fixing it up. And I think it's what I want, and the D-pad, what I've used of it, plays well too. Which this supposedly has D-pad problems. Like I said, I haven't played with the D-pad on this that much, and I'm not like a D-pad expert. I can't say for sure. But I will say in that Street Fighter 4 game, I couldn't seem to do fireballs. But then I will say in the Mortal Kombat 11, I was doing Sub-Zero's fireballs pretty well. But then I noticed I couldn't jump, because when you jump forward, you got to press the up diagonal. Like if you're jumping right, you're pressing this way. He was having trouble jumping to me. I don't know. I just tried a few times, so I can't say for sure. One workaround is to just use the analog stick, as Retro Game Core mentioned, but I think, it's not the same. I think, it actually works, and I've done that before on other systems. But, yeah, you prefer, for these retro games, you prefer to have a good D-pad. So yeah, that's why I think, and here's another thing, money. Like if I was rich, and I didn't give a crap about $300, because remember I paid $299 for this, not $349. Then I'd be more inclined to keeping it. But like right now, I just feel a little short on money, and I've kind of always thought like I may just return this. I haven't paid off the credit card I used it on. I pay off all my credit cards right when I purchase something. But this one I've just let the charge, $324 after tax, just sit there, because I know that in the back of my head that I may return it. And I bought it from Amazon, which is 30 days returns. So I've had it maybe like a week to 10 days. So I still got time actually. I still want to, I'm going to fully put some retro games on there in the next few days, get it set up better. Kind of just to experience it some more. Maybe I'll still keep it, but odds are I'm going to return it. It's going to be, it's going to be hard to return, but I guess I'm thinking that way. Because I also need tires. I just found out like my 2 back tires on my truck probably need new tires. They're going to be like $250. It's just one thing after another right now. So, like I said, if I had, if I had unlimited funds, would I like to own this device? Absolutely. It's cool. But, for me, I don't need a handheld. It doesn't really, I went down why. I won't use the cloud streaming aspect of it really, other than as a novelty. I don't need that. I to set it up as a retro handheld with a really big, beautiful screen, that's what I'll do with it. But then if it has the troublesome D-pad, and I just don't think that's worth it to me because I want something more portable as well. You know, I don't need this huge screen necessarily. It might be nice, but it's kind of cool to have. I think to me, I'd rather have something tiny. You know, easy to take around. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with it. I may still keep it, but right now I'm leaning to returning it, getting my $300 back. Hopefully I won't have any trouble. I've returned tons of things to Amazon, never had any trouble, but never an expensive electronics item like this. But I mean, I'm just gonna factory reset it and should be fine. Amazon is kind of like Walmart; they'll take anything back because they're a giant company. So yeah, that's why I'm considering strongly returning my Logitech G Cloud and just going with this guy. I think it's more of what I want out of a handheld. But, you know, and another thing is, like, I don't need the tablet aspect of this. This would be much more of something I'd keep if I didn't have a tablet. But I already have a Samsung Tab S7 11-inch. Very nice. It's not OLED. It's not their OLED version, but it's still like a $700 tablet originally. It's very nice, very powerful. So if I have that, I don't need this. And it's not great as a tablet because it's got the dang grips attached to it. Like, my Samsung has like a nice case that I can prop it up wherever I want. I can go in the kitchen and it just has this folding case that props it up in different directions real easily. Or, you know, have the little magnetic detachable keyboard for it, which is awesome. It turns it into like a mini PC. All the stuff this thing can't do. And this thing is cool, but you know, like I said, I do like the 7-inch tablet, but it's not quite as good as like a real 7-inch tablet without the grips getting in the way of everything. So yeah, if I didn't have a tablet, I would probably keep this just for the tablet aspect. You know, that would put it over the top. Of course, it's gaming too. But since I have a tablet, it's kind of less of a selling point on it. So yeah, this video is almost 30 minutes, but that's why as of now, I'm probably going to return my G Cloud.